Welcome, everybody. I'm JD,
And I'm Gail.
and you're tuned in.
From deep inside Bunker Foxtrot, located somewhere under the swamps of Central Florida, it's Gale Force.
And welcome back, everybody. How you doing today, Gail?
Oh, doing pretty good. Happy Mother's Day to your mother.
I was just going to bring that up. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and also to my good buddy who passed away a couple years ago. I used to call him on every Mother's Day and wish him a Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day, because he was a mother. Well, what's new? Anything happening?
Oh my gosh, where shall we start?
All kinds of stuff in the news, huh?
Absolutely.
Well, I think we're going to start real quick with a little bit of crypto news because crypto's in there. We usually do this at the end of the show, but stick around because we're going to be talking about the Chinese tariff and free trade and what's happening in Germany and just a little bit about everything in the economy. But first, we want to do a little bit of crypto news. All right, let's do some crypto news. And everybody's wondering why all of a sudden crypto is taking off.
Yeah.
You know what? Bitcoin was down about $3,500 not too long ago, then slowly crept up to 4,000 and then 5,000, and now it's tipping around 6,000.
Well, yeah, it was.
Cheers again to all the mothers out there.
It was just barely popping over 6,000, like $6,200.
Yeah. So who knows? 8,000 might be next.
Yeah.
So everybody's probably wondering why cryptos are taking off, especially Bitcoin. And there's all kinds of theories. One of them might have to do with what's his congressman, a Democrat named Brad Sherman.
Absolutely.
And he wants to introduce a bill to ban cryptocurrencies.
Right. They figured out that it might make them, how should you say, irrelevant?
He's concerned that the government won't be able to get their money.
Yeah, their money.
Their money. Yeah, my question is, everybody wants to ban stuff. You remember we did this back in the 20s. We banned alcohol.
It worked so good.
How'd that work out? Really good. And then we decided.
Well, Al Capone worked good.
Yeah. And then we decided to ban drugs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been doing the drug war for how long?
Well, yeah, we've had a war on drugs.
Yeah, war on drugs, and of course, they've been killing everybody except for the people that are, creating the drugs. They kill all the innocent people. People just want to buy the drugs and do some recreational stuff. And now we see states. What was it? Denver just legalized mushrooms.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can go do some fancy mushrooms there in Denver. So we know the war on drugs isn't doing very good. They're starting to legalize it all. But we have a great Democrat who says that the government won't be able to get their money.
Yeah.
If cryptos were allowed. Cryptos are there just to, be used by the bad guys. There's no good intent for cryptos.
Well, the drug trade.
Yeah, and
money laundering.
Yeah, how are people like Obama going to give billions of dollars to Iran, if we go to cryptos?
Right.
The dollar bills. Dollar bills are untraceable. That's the worst laundering out there is with $100 bills because you can't trace them.
Physical dollar bills.
Yeah. So this guy wants to ban, digital assets because he's afraid the government won't get their money. Remember, it's their money first, not yours. Remember, the government gets a cut of your money before you do. Okay. So this guy has a bright idea. Let's just ban. How in the hell are you going to ban cryptos? Are you going to arrest everybody who has bought it crypto? 11%.
It's a scare tactic.
11% of Americans have some kind of digital currency now. Mm-hmm. Which I'm really surprised it's that high, 11%. So right. 1 out of 10 people you meet has some kind of digital asset.
Right. I'm
really kind of surprised with that. So, but
as far as the money laundering, can I interject for a second?
Yeah, you're the man. we always go to you because you're the conspiracy theorist.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I've seen a couple of movies about this, and I got to think about that. Like, right now, Money laundering. Oh my God, money laundering. Now, couple of gray hairs like you and me. What would we do if we found a whole big suitcase or bale full of money? Have you ever thought about that, JD?
If I found a bale of money, what would I do with it?
How would you
I thought
use
about
it?
it.
Because it might be marked. It might be some kind of a drug deal.
I could have put it in the bank, because if I attempt to put it in the bank, a big amount, they want to know where it came from.
Correct.
So you can't put it in the bank. That's a good question. I couldn't go buy things, because then the government wants to know, how could I afford this car on my salary, which is
Well,
zero.
there's ways you could do stuff. What I was getting at is, if it was some kind of a government con for a bunch of drug dealers, they would have all the serial numbers.
Yeah.
So what could you do? Well, we'd have to get out of the bunker, get in a car, and drive down to Tampa. We could go to Seminole Casino. You go in there and give them like $5,000, $10,000 for chips.
Buy chips?
Walk around for 2-3 hours to spend $200-300. Turn your chips back in, turn it back into cash. So you wouldn't get the same dollar bills back,
huh?
and you've laundered the money.
Those Indians think of everything.
Yeah.
What a good way to launder money. Yeah. But would they catch you on camera and say, how'd you get that $5,000 to come?
See, a casino, they think you're going to lose it all, so they don't care.
They don't care. But what happens if that FBI comes in and says, we want to see the tapes? We think this guy came in here and gave you a bunch of chips. You're still kind of...
Got a better chance there than you do in the bank.
That's true.
Or 7-Eleven.
Yeah, at a bank, you got to fill out the paperwork. I guess at a casino, you just have to buy drinks. So, again, the cryptocurrencies are going up. One thing I want to recommend is, if you have any money on exchanges,
oh, definitely get it out.
You might want to get it out, because I've got some money in Bittrex, and I can't get it out right now. Somehow they flagged me for some reason. I haven't heard back yet, but if you have any money on exchanges,
get it out.
Get it out of there. I mean, if you're doing day trading or whatever, you're taking a chance, and there's a couple.
Well, then you're not really dealing with it. You're just dealing in fiat anyway. It's all
Eventually
rehypothecated.
But
derivatives.
Your money's stuck in there. Like, I have coins that I can't get out because they flagged me for some reason. I don't know why they flagged me. And then again, I get flagged for everything. I'm going to get into flag football. At least it'll be worth it. So what else? Any other crypto news before we get into the real new news? Because there's a lot of new news out there. Stick around, folks.
Yeah. Well, no. Cryptocurrency, they're just...
Matter of fact, before we get into the new news,
there was like a 20% run up, and then it's pulled back some.
Hey, do us a favor. If you're watching us on YouTube or anywhere, just do a like and a subscribe. We'd appreciate that. And again, on crypto news, Bitcoin's going up. Might hit 8,000.
It was actually, it had hit 7,400, and right now it's at 68.
Actually, this is a good one. This is the text I had with my wife. She said she's breaking up with me, and I said, why? And she said, because you never stop talking about crypto. And I said, babe, I'll stop. I swear to Satoshi. She said, bye. I said, wait, huddle on.
There you go.
So just hang on. If you got cryptos, hang on to them,
but get them off the exchange.
Because you know it's going to jump up, because the government's going to try to ban it. So you know it's going to skyrocket.
Well, it's just like gold and silver. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. It's just like money in the bank.
That's it.
It doesn't belong to you if it's in the bank. It belongs to them. You are a creditor.
That's it. Anytime you open a bank account, remember, as soon as you put money in the bank, it's not yours anymore.
Right.
Yep.
So if you've got cash in your pocket, that's your money.
Yep.
But if it's in the bank, it's not your money.
It's not your money. All right, let's get on to some news, because there's a lot of news. That's the one thing I can't hear the news. All right, there's news out there. What's the news?
Oh my gosh. Which country you want to go to first?
I don't know. Where do you want to start? I got a couple things here we can start with. We can start with German banks. We can start with the China trade agreement, which the only thing they've agreed so far is to
since I'm the
raise the tariffs.
Conspiracy theorist.
Okay, I'll let you choose.
Okay. almost all wars, the only winner is the banks because they loan money to both sides.
I agree on that.
I mean, and how did the Rothschilds make their money? Because with the war they had with France, they had information. They said, "Oh, we lost the battle," and the London market went way down. The Rothschilds bought it all up.
Isn't that what who was made it famous that the best time to buy is when there's a bloodbath or something? What's that it?
The best
When
time to buy
when there's
is
blood
when
in the
there's,
streets.
when there's blood on the streets, even if it's your own. That's the best time to buy.
So I guess
The banks.
does that bring us to this story here?
Yes.
All right. So what's going on? Gail sent or hang on. Gail sent me this. I didn't catch it in time. Been a rough week. But Gail sent me an article about Germany. He's always finding articles, but he uses weird websites, and a lot of people say, "Well, he's a conspiracy theorist. That's why he uses
It's
all
all
these
propaganda.
all his propaganda." But he sent me this article about German banks. I haven't had time to read it yet. So, Gail, what's going on here? Who's tumbling 54%?
Okay.
And this is from what?
Commerce Bank.
Yeah, but what website?
Oh yes.
This is not RT.
That's not RT. It's not Sputnik. It's not China Daily.
It's not CNN or
This is
MSNBC.
like Bloomberg and Market Watch and Fox Business.
All right.
Okay.
So a big bank in Germany.
Their profits are tumbling 54%. Now the thing is
Is this in a quarter? Yeah. Okay. First quarter net profit fell 54%, hit by lower revenue and discontinued business.
all right.
Who's discontinuing business? Oh, Trump.
Yeah, he took his money.
He took
his
and put it
money's in Deutsche Bank.
Deutsche Bank.
It's not a Commerce Bank.
Okay.
But see, since they're going to investigate Deutsche Bank, maybe Trump pulled his money out. Right?
He might have had money in there, got it out in time, and that's why their profit tumbled 54%.
Yeah, that's why Citigroup.
So why is this big news? Why should we be concerned about this?
Well, Deutsche Bank, which is the largest in Germany, Commerce Bank is the second largest.
Okay.
They were Deutsche Bank, and literally because they haven't done it yet, there is proof, and there's.
I'm just pointing to you on the screen here.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's. They were caught up and literally caught in rigging the gold and silver market.
Oh.
They're in derivatives and stuff like that.
This is a conspiracy theory again. They're rigging markets.
Yeah. Well, there is one from J.P. Morgan.
Okay.
That in something else, he admitted that yes, he did do market rigging for the silver market, and he was rolling over to tell who taught him how to do it and how many people all the way up to Jamie Dimon knew about it.
So silver, I'm supposed to be keeping notes. We don't have our producer here today. I got to keep notes.
Well, here.
Got it. Because I want to
Anyway,
I want to do silver rigging. Hang on. Go. Keep going. Don't mind me.
It's been proven that they've caught up, but they haven't gone through a court yet. They've got documents proving that they have been caught up in the fixing of gold and silver prices and stuff, and all the derivatives that had Deutsche Bank had. Because Deutsche Bank is in such problems and about to collapse.
Yeah, I think they're going to have problems.
They were trying to merge Deutsche Bank and Commerce.
Okay.
But Commerce Bank, their profits fell 54% in one quarter.
You imagine half your profits you're expecting and you don't get it, and especially for a bank because the bank don't produce nothing. Their profits are from interest and from loans
and creating loans.
Yeah, and maybe doing some trading or whatever, but it's the loan market, and that's really got Are we going to see other German banks profits tumble?
I think you're going to see a lot of banks around the world profits tumble because with this trade wars, everything's done on short-term credit. Now, a lot of people don't understand how important a credit is and why you don't want a credit freeze. If you take and bring product into a port on a cargo container and it gets unloaded, well, the port authority and the employees, whoever's running the port, has to take out a short-term business loan to pay everybody's wages, to pay the electricity bills and everything else. The trucking company comes in, they take a short-term business loan to pay their employees, fuel for their trucks, something else, to haul it to warehouses. Another short-term business loan is done at the warehouses for all the truckers and all the people working in the warehouses to take it to the stores. Stores have short-term business loans to pay all their employees until things are sold.
That's it.
Okay, and at the point of sale, then the money goes back up the chain.
Starts going backwards.
All the way to the port. So you have at least 4 short-term business loans from the time it hit the port till the time at Walmart, Sears, the grocery store, whatever, till it goes ka-ching.
That one of us slubs goes and buys something.
That it goes back up the chain, and all these other short-term business loans are satisfied. So when we have a credit freeze, these tariff wars and all these other things disrupt the money flow. It's called money velocity.
Yeah.
And if you change money velocity...
And that brings us to the next subject that we might as well, since you brought it up, and we went to Commerce Bank, and again, and plus, real quick, before we leave...
Commerce Bank, if you have America, the biggest ones are J.P. Morgan Chase.
Well, I was going to say...
Bank of America, Citibank, and
you've noticed here locally that there are some local banks that are consolidating.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And we'll bring that up in a second. Okay. Because that has to do with trade and what's going on with Trump. And what's going on with Trump and everything is, well, hell, let's just do it. Let's get into the news. It's the China tariffs.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. And we have a theory on this we're going to bring up. But real quick, since we were talking about banks, and you said some local banks are consolidating.
Correct.
And why is this happening? Why all of a sudden, after the 2008 crisis, we thought we'd see more small banks come on board. And there were a couple of banks that came on board, but now we're seeing a consolidation again. The big banks are getting bigger.
Correct.
Okay, and real quick before we get onto the tariffs, what's your idea on that? I mean,
okay, if you remember during the thing when Obama was there, they had a thing called a stress test to see what their percentage of junk loans were, AAA loans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because this time they see the downturn coming. They're trying to position themselves and put their best assets in like a merger, just like BB&T and Sunbank here in the Southeast. They're merging, okay? A local credit union that I use called CFE, which was Central Florida Educators, or the Teachers Credit Union.
Yeah.
They're now Addition Financial. There's another one here in Orlando. I can't remember their name, but they've changed their name also.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're trying to jockey themselves, and they're trying to find some small banks or whatever. They're the ones going to fall on the sword. Okay. So that these big banks, or some of them, are trying to position themselves so that their bottom line looks
better,
solvable. Okay, so everyone won't be bailed out. Only the ones with a certain amount of good stuff on
the ones that look like they can survive because they have some kind of asset behind them.
They'll be the only ones that get bailed out this time. Not everybody.
Yeah, not everybody.
Okay? So what is that? Now, here's an example JD and I were talking about. Okay, if you have Mad Max type world. Okay?
Oh, hey, before we get that,
Okay.
I know you want to go into the fall down and who falls softer and harder. Is that where you
No,
going?
no, no, no. I was going about the having the cash.
Okay. Continue.
Okay. We're gonna do that too.
Okay.
Okay.
Because
So
I want to get into the China trade because that all gets into it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Here's an example to explain to people. Let's say you know that there's going to be a big civil war, there's something coming, or there's a big crash coming, and you're able to get most of your money in cash. Not most of your money. Let's say you had like
Something.
$10,000 in $20 bills you had hidden in a couple cigar boxes. Okay.
Yeah.
If the world all turned into a Mad Max, you could go around with cash, because most of the banks would be locking up and people doing different things. You could go around and buy somebody's boat if they've got a title. You could you could give them $500 for the boat and it's worth $5,000.
Yeah.
But they're hungry.
Yeah, they need.
And their wife's going to put a high-heeled shoe up their patootie if they don't come up with money to buy groceries.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I know this is you're preying on people. Well, businesses and banks have been doing it for thousands of years. So if you think about it, if you had a bunch of money, went around and bought up assets at bargain basement prices, well, actually stealing it.
Yeah.
When things started up good, for that $10,000 worth of money that you spent, the assets you'd have might be worth a couple $100,000. This is what these banks are, in my opinion, they're positioning themselves to steal everybody's house, everybody's car. If
like you said,
Joe Saves You Dough Bank over here,
they have to do something because if their profits are
if
tumbling,
you're down 54% and you put all the bad auto loans on Commerce Bank,
I get
when
your
it
point.
falls down,
I get it.
you could buy up $1 million worth of cars
For pennies on the dollar.
for $100,000.
Yeah.
And you've got $900,000 profit.
You're set.
So
all right.
This is what banks are doing.
So that brings us back to the tariffs. This is big news right now. Is the tariffs on China products, and of course, most people who are able to kind of think a little bit on their own and know the history of tariffs. Tariffs really doesn't hurt the country that you're putting the tariffs on.
Oh no, hurts your service.
It hurts us. The tariffs that Trump is putting on China is hurting the Americans because we buy a lot of stuff from China, and that means that the products we buy from China are going to go up 25%. There's a 25% tax on it now,
Right.
So they're going to go up quite a bit. So we're going to pay more for it. But there's a catch-22 here, and we say this is a long-term thing, and we were talking about this earlier, and now we're going to try to go into it on air here and try to figure this out. It is a catch-22.
Correct.
We're going to be paying more for China products,
Correct.
right? Because Trump. Now, why is Trump doing this? We doing it because we know China is taking advantage of us because they can manipulate their money.
Here's the thing is, and we're not going to do Democrat or Republican, people.
Yeah, this is just
Because
we'll do government.
Politicians and banks are politicians and banks.
Yeah, they're all crooks.
Through the years, different administrations and different banks have made deals, and it's taken advantage of the American people. The only way you can undo this, there's going to be pain and suffering. There's no way out.
Either way you go.
Right. So by creating tariffs, it should slow down trade between the United States and China, and people will have to be less consumers, which is going to make the banks angry because they're not making their money making loans.
Yep.
They might just have to start opening up factories to make shoes here in America, to make shirts here in America, to make pants here in America.
Now, with that, like you said, it's a catch-22. We can raise tariffs on China, which means their products will be more expensive.
And take the pain now. Or the slow paper cut bleeding to death over 20 years with them, where if we take and bite the bullet now,
and be able to become. This is what me and Gail were debating. Is this a Trump idea to get more manufacturing here in America?
Correct.
Now we can manufacture anything here in America, but the problem is when you have unions and you have regulations and you have high taxes, that if they do decide to make stuff here, if we open up more manufacturing here, it's going to be on par. It's going to be just as expensive as if we're buying it from China with the high taxes, the high tariffs. In other words, we can make it here and not pay the high tariffs, but it will cost just the same as if we
Correct.
pay the tariffs.
But if you look at what Trump's doing, he's trying to cut back he's trying to set hard targets on what unions get, and the EPA trying to put so many things on it that also runs the price up.
But that's one thing he's done is with every new regulation, you have to get rid of two.
Right.
So he's trying to make it easier to manufacture stuff here in America. But we are going to go. This is an analogy that Gail had that there's us and China or in some other countries, Germany and France, we're all on the top of the staircase here, and America, pats China on the back and pow, he goes falling down the staircase.
Right.
And then we hit Germany on the back of on the back, and they go tumbling down the staircase. So when we decide to stumble and fall down the staircase,
there's bodies there, so it's going to be a softer landing.
Yeah, we'll have something to cushion our fall. When China hits the ground, they're going to pow. It's going to hurt. But the problem with the tariffs, and I was reading this article here, is Trump might be thinking, and we don't know what nobody knows what Trump's thinking. You see it all the time.
Half of what he does is a con job, and this is what aggravates people.
Yeah, he just, it's the way he does it. But there's in this article here, and I'm looking at a Reason magazine, and they have some great articles on it. And the Chinese entrepreneurs, because China is now, they are communists, but they have, they make their iPhones, they make, Nike shoes, they make everything.
They're not they have a communist political system, but they are a little more hands off with their commerce system.
And this is what Reason magazine is saying, that maybe Trump's trying to get these people, kind of poke them a little bit and say, hey, why don't you move your factories over to America? That way you don't have to worry about the tariffs. Why the businessmen in China are saying, well, this could really hurt us, because now the Chinese government might put a restriction on products going to America, their tariffs or whatever, and it might hurt the emerging markets in China. It might hurt the businessmen. So
but
this hurts everybody. Tariffs hurt everybody. But then again,
what's
the outcome of it?
The facts, a lot of things that we don't see most of the time, unless you dig and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is all right. In 2008, United States had like $8 trillion in debt.
Yeah.
China was $10 trillion in debt. Today, we're $22 trillion in debt. China is $40 trillion in debt.
So it's like, who goes down first?
They're $40 trillion in debt. We're $22 trillion in debt. We started out at about the same.
Yeah.
So we're just a little more than a 2x, and they're a 4x.
Yeah.
Okay, people? Can you count the fingers? 2x and 4x.
This can't end well for anybody. Yeah.
And Trump's playing chicken because they're so deep in debt, they've got more to lose than we do.
So I'm thinking that maybe what his, I can't say I'm not a Trump supporter. I like some of the stuff he's done. I didn't vote for Trump. The last election was the first election I missed. But maybe he's, when you're playing chess, you're always a couple of moves ahead, and maybe he is a couple moves ahead, and he's saying that China can eat us when it comes to the economy. They can produce anything, and they can produce it cheaper or whatever. But he's saying if China goes under, what are we going to do?
Right.
We have to have the ability to make the stuff we need. So
Right.
we better start doing it here.
Doing it now
You think
before
that's
it's too late.
you think
Yes.
that's what he's looking for? It's like, look, we're going to be hurting in the short term. Everybody's going to be hurting. You're going to pay out.
But it's just like the bodies falling on top of each other. If they're
We'd rather somebody else go first.
on the top of them, you may get a couple of broken bones.
Yeah. So
but you're not going to be a squish pumpkin pie.
So without saying it, because anything he says changes the markets in a heartbeat, he's saying that we better get going and start doing stuff here in America.
Right.
Because we know Canada up north, the people up north, they're having a hard time.
Oh my gosh.
You know, and Mexico, which brings us real quick. You know, we've been on. Yeah, we've been going for a while. But let's real quick, because we did mention this.
I come up with a smart aleck comment.
Yeah, we. Matter of fact, my brother has retired in Thailand, and now he found it might be too expensive to live in Thailand, which I never could imagine. And now he wants to go to Mexico. Now, why would my brother want to go to Mexico? I mean, all the immigrants are coming from Honduras.
And Bolivia.
You see how we
like
kind of brought this in, how this all ties together. The immigrants are bypassing Mexico and coming to the United States for economic reasons.
Yeah, they're looking for a job, but the thing is all the jobs, all the big jobs, the union jobs and stuff. I got a union retirement, people, so I'll take and talk about them all I want. Okay, I used to be a contract negotiator and everything.
Get it while you can.
Okay. If all the good union jobs went to Mexico, why aren't those people stopping in Mexico to get a good job?
That's a good point. You know, and I've asked this question many a time. You know, all the good jobs, you know, Ford makes all their cars down there.
GM makes all the cars.
Whirlpool makes all the washing machines, all the great jobs. And we've been told this from the Obama administration and from all the Democrats and all that. All our jobs are going to Mexico.
Back to Bill Clinton with NAFTA.
Yeah. So Mexico has all these great jobs. Why aren't all the immigrants stopping in Mexico?
Right. If the jobs are there, why aren't they stopping to get a good job?
Do you think it's the food? Do you think it's just the food's too spicy for them?
I think what it is, yeah, because all the hot sauce has got a mariachi guy in it. They're bigots and they don't like mariachis.
So they're coming up here for the hamburgers and the hot dogs.
Yeah.
And
you know, and Tabasco sauce doesn't have a mariachi.
So that's a good question. Why are the immigrants stopping in Mexico? Like my brother said, he wants to retire there because, you know, it's cheaper than here in America. So you think all the migrants would stop in Mexico
where the jobs are at.
And where the jobs are at? Good question.
Something to think about.
Well, before we end the show, because we've been going on quite a while.
Okay, go for it.
I'm trying to find oh, here we go. We just want to remind you that if you're watching on YouTube, if you would, just do us a like and a subscribe and maybe let some of your friends know about Gail Force here. You can find us on Bit2 under Gail Force. You can find us on Facebook under Every Bit Matters.
Right.
All right, check that out. And, of course, on YouTube under Gail Force Creations. And one day under Steve It, under Every Bit Matters. Again, I'm JD.
And I'm Gail.
And did we miss anything?
I don't know.
Is there anything that we wanted to talk about? We were doing an extended show here. So, and we covered the trade. We covered what's happening.
I mean, there's just so much. We could be off for hours because you got like the yellow vest.
Oh yeah, that's still going on.
You've got Italy trying to get their gold back from the central bank.
Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, the banks are buying gold up. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, well, we'll do it again next week, everybody. I'm JD.
And I'm Gail.
And you've been listening to Gail Force. And everybody have a great Mother's Day.